All right, good morning. My name is Chasen Ishii. I'm the chairperson for the authority. I'd like to call to order the July 20th, 2023 public hearing of the Hawaii Community Development Authority. And the time is now 9 a.m.
Thank you, Chair. In accordance with section 92-3.7 Hawaii Revised Statutes, the Hawaii Community Development Authority is holding today's public hearing both virtually on Zoom and in person. The Zoom link details were included in the public hearing notice. Therefore, members of the public are welcome to join us on Zoom or at the physical meeting site, the American Brewery Building, 547 Queen Street, second floor boardroom, Honolulu, Hawaii, 96813. The hearing is also being live
But I
streamed
can't
on
get that to be large size.
the HCD.
Did we lose audio?
We lost audio for the HCDA boardroom.
Okay. Thank you.
This is a public in-person and virtual public hearing, so to prevent any distractions, if you are attending virtually and you are not a board member, staff member, or ACDA's Attorney General, please turn off your video during the meeting. If you are providing verbal public testimony, your name will be called accordingly. If you are attending in person, when your name is called, please come to the front of the room. And if you're attending virtually, please turn your video on only while providing your testimony. In either case, please clearly state your name and affiliation and proceed with your testimony. In accordance with section 92-3.7 C Hawaii Revised Statutes, the authority's connection for the remote meeting is lost. The hearing will be recessed until the connection is restored. If the connection cannot be restored within 30 minutes, the hearing will be reconvened tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the same physical location and virtual Zoom link as today's hearing. Thank you.
Let the record reflect the following Kaka'ako members are present. Vice Chair Aho,
Present.
Member Higa. Member Miranda Johnson,
Present.
Member Nasser. Member Hirai.
Present.
Member Evans.
Member Evan, I think you're on mute. Member Evans, I think you're on mute.
No, I'm not on mute, but we can't get this,
Oh.
We can hear you now, Member Evans.
We can hear you.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you, present. So just have to do this.
Member Sakota.
I'm here.
Go back. Member Higa. Member Nasser. Oh, do we have quorum?
Chair, we have quorum.
Okay, great. Thank you. Individuals from the public who have provided verbal public
We'll fix it afterwards.
specific agenda items are on now standby and will be permitted to provide testimony respectively. Would counsel for the applicant make their appearance at this time?
Good morning, Chair Ishii, members of the authority, Executive Director Nakamoto, and the HCDA staff, Brian Kang and Vanessa Wen, appearing on behalf of the applicants, Victoria Ward Limited, for Block D, Land Block 4, Project 1, and Block E, Land Block 4, Project 2.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. Legal basis and purpose. Today's hearing on development permit number KAK 23-037 and KAK 23-038 is being held in accordance with Hawaii Revised Statutes, section 206E-5.6, Hawaii Administrative Rules, chapter 15-219, and the vested Hawaii Administrative Rules, chapter 15-22. The nature of today's public hearing is to allow the applicant, Victoria Ward Limited, to present the proposed project and to provide the general public with the opportunity to present oral and or written testimony. The applicant is Victoria Ward Limited. Development permit number KAK 23-037, Block D, Ward Village, Land Block 4, Project 1. The second development permit is KK 23-038, Block E, Ward Village, Land Block 4, Project 2. Tax map key is 1-2-3-005 and portion of parcel 6. Project location is 1200 Ala Moana Boulevard, Honolulu, Hawaii 96814. The project description for project 1, block D is as follows. The request before us is for a development permit application dated June 9th, 2023, proposing to build a single tower, 242 unit residential mixed-use condominium tower known as Block D. The proposed Block D consists of a single condominium tower built on a 65-foot high parking and mixed-use podium located on a 80,021 square foot lot bounded by Hawaii Street to the north, the site of the future Diamond Head Plaza Park to the west, Ala Moana Boulevard to the south, and the proposed Block E site to the east. On the ground level, the project will include approximately 5,049 square feet of open space and approximately 65,615 square feet of recreational space with amenities. A total of approximately 477 parking stalls will be located in the 65-foot high parking podium. Residential and commercial loading areas and public bicycle parking are proposed as part of the project. The project also includes a 35,278 square foot public park located on the ever side of Land Block 4 fronting Kamakea Street. The project description for project 2, Block E is as follows. Development permit application dated June 9th, 2023 proposes to build a single tower, 148 unit residential mixed-use condominium known as Block E. The proposed Block E consists of a single condominium tower to be built on a 65-foot high parking and mixed-use podium located on an 80,051 square foot lot bounded by Hawaii Street to the north, the proposed Block D site to the west, Ala Moana Boulevard to the south, and the IBM building property to the east. On the ground level, the project will include approximately 709 square feet of open space and approximately 81,077 square feet of recreational space with amenities. A total of approximately 381 parking stalls will be located in the 65-foot high parking podium. Residential and commercial loading areas and public bicycle parking are proposed as part of the project. These are the modification requests. In conjunction with this development permit, the applicant is also requesting the following modifications from the vested Kaka'ako Maopo rules. These are collectively referred to as the modification request. Number 1, modification of the height of the parking and mixed-use podium from 45 to 65 feet. And A, an additional 12 feet for accessory use structures having a total area less than 15% of the parking and mixed-use podium roof area. And B, an additional 18 feet for vent pipes, fans, roof access stairwells, and structures housing rooftop machinery on the mixed-use podium roof. And second, modification of the view corridor setback on Ala Moana Boulevard for a combined total of approximately 80% of the Ala Moana frontage. The applicant will be making a presentation at a separate public hearing for the modification on Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023 at 9 a.m. Legal notice. A public hearing notice was published in the Honolulu Star Advertiser, Maui News, Garden Isle, Hawaii Tribune Herald, and West Hawaii Today on Wednesday, June 14th, 2023. And Chair, for the record, Member Higa joined at 9:05.
Thank you. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Okay, procedures for the hearing. Let me briefly explain our procedures for today's public hearing. ACDA staff will present its report summarizing the development permit application. Following that presentation, we will receive the presentation of the applicant and then testimony from the public. Only members of the HCDA authority and the executive director will be permitted to ask questions of the staff, applicant, or individuals providing testimony. I will be acting as the presiding officer for this hearing.
Here, just to note, member Nasser joined about 9:09.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions to these procedures? Not, first, in accordance with HAR 15-219-49, interested persons were provided an opportunity to intervene to participate as a party in this hearing by submitting a written request to HCDA by 4:30 PM on Wednesday, July 5th, 2023. For the record, there were no such motions to intervene received by HCDA for the proposed Block D and Block E Ward Village applications. We will now begin our proceedings. HCDA's Director of Planning and Development, Ryan Ham, will now present the staff's report. Ryan,
Good morning and aloha Chair Shi and board members.
welcome to Hawaii.
Thank you. Very glad to be here. Midnight arrival. Again, the staff reports are uploaded, are in your packet and uploaded for public review. In the interest of time, I will just summarize and highlight a few key points for you. I did want to acknowledge the excellent work of our staff planners on this, Ms. Janet Monkey Lau, and also our admin, amazing admin, Renee Reed, who has tirelessly put everything together. So, thank you, along with the rest of the team, Ms. Brahanu and Ms. Belinda Conley. Again, the applications were deemed complete on June 13th, 2023, and will be automatically approved on November 20th, 2023, if no action is taken before then. As we indicated, the public hearing notices were mailed out on June 14th, and we did receive no request for intervention. Again, this proposed project is part of the Ward Village Master Plan, which is valid until January 14th. 2024. We did receive utility coordination letters from the Honolulu Police Department, the Department of Transportation, Board of Water Supply, Department of Education, DLNR, Department of Planning and Permitting, Honolulu Fire Department, and the Department of Design and Construction. In terms of the project, again, in the staff report, project details start on page 5. Again, land use and zoning also. Discussion about the podium and platform height modifications. These starting on page 6. These were included, podium height modifications were included as part of the ward master plan. Again, the applicant is requesting a modification from 45 feet up to 65 feet plus another 12 feet for accessory structures, and this will all be discussed in the modification hearing on August 2nd. With regards to density and tower height, along with the existing IBM building and the proposed D&E developments, which are each approximately 489,800 square feet each, the total floor area on the block is 1,042,100 square feet. And this is a floor area ratio of about 4.52, which is within the allowable floor area of 4.75, including the transfer of 25%. With regards to industrial use, the master plan does provide a floor area bonus for providing industrial uses, and had previously projected 736,914 square feet of industrial floor area to gain a maximum floor area bonus of 0.3. Because the current forecast 279,437 square feet of industrial floor area is only a portion of this, the final possible floor area bonus is 0.114 for a total floor area ratio of 3.614. The maximum allowable floor area ratio is 4.52, so the project does comply. Both towers are within the maximum allowable footprint of 16,000 square feet. Page 10, the front yards have 15-foot setbacks. The front yards with 15-foot setbacks are along Oahe Street at Almont Boulevard. In terms of open space, the open space required for block D is 8,002 square feet and 8,005 square feet for block E. Block D is providing 5,049 square feet on site. Block E is going to have 709 square feet. Diamond Head Plaza, however, will have 35,268 square feet for a total of 41,036 square feet. So this is surplus of 27,660 square feet. In terms of recreation space, block D is required to have 13,310 square feet. They are proposing 65,615 square feet. Block E is requiring 8,140 square feet, but they are proposing 81,077 square feet of recreation space. For, again, off-street parking, block D has 477 on-site spaces, 22 off-site spaces. Block E has 381 on-site spaces and 20 off-site spaces. Again, the podium is set back 23 feet, but encroaches into view corridor height and slope setbacks. So we will discuss that at the modification hearing further. In terms of building orientation and spacing, the towers are separated by approximately 147 feet, which is less than the required 300 feet. For public facilities dedication, the required PFD is 19,509 square feet for block D and roughly the same 19,517 square feet for block E. Total required PFD for Ward Village as a whole is 272,631 square feet. And after the pending PFDs for the Ward Park roadway and sidewalk easements, there will be a balance of approximately 92,000 square feet. Reserve housing is being met by the credit from Lana, and there will be a surplus of 53 units after Lana. In terms of the circulation, again, there are going to be 3 driveways along the on the Mackay side of Oahe Street. Driveways at each end of the building will serve the lobbies and off-street parking areas, and there'll be a central driveway on block E parcel serving the loading docks for both buildings. This central driveway does bisect the retail promenade, and so staff did work with the applicant to add stairs on either side of this driveway to allow better circulation along Oahe Street. The applicant is proposing a pedestrian walkway and path along Almont Boulevard that will connect to the existing sidewalk along the roadway. Starting on page 21, in terms of streetscapes, we did spend a lot of time with the applicant on this. There is an approximately 7-foot grade difference between the sidewalk along Oahe Street and the retail promenade. So that's one thing to look at. I think staff felt that ensuring adequate vertical access points and good sightlines between the sidewalk and the promenade will help to mitigate the display differential, as well as additional seating or other active pedestrian amenities to really help better connect the project with the public realm. And I think in terms of consistency with the master plan, you know, the master plan did envision Oahe Street as this promenade, tree-lined promenade. But kind of based on the programming, they will not be placing large canopy trees along Oahe Street. Also, in terms of consistency with the master plan, the Diamond Head Plaza location was relocated from the center of the block to the other end of the block, partially due to the preservation of the IBM building. The Diamond Head Plaza was previously intended to create a mid-block connection through to Wahi Street and to help kind of break up the massing. But we did work with the applicant to try to figure out ways to mitigate that through more connections and access stairways. In terms of consistency with the findings of facts, conclusion of law and DNO, the finding of fact 48 and streetscape and 72 urban form does call for minor units up to the 65 or 75 foot level to mitigate the look of structured parking. The applicant is proposing commercial and some commercial liners along Oahe Street side. Above that, they are proposing architectural but not program liners. And then along Alameda Boulevard, they are proposing a pedestrian path and not retail. So that's just like the country. With regards to the public testimony, again, there were 33 submittals in total, 30 supporting, 2 opposing Block B&E, and 1 opposing Howard Hughes development. Just some of the key highlights of the concerns that were brought up. One was on the location of the Diamond Head Plaza. Again, as I discussed earlier. Another one was on the EV chargers and requesting that high capacity EV chargers be incorporated. And then the last one was in regards to climate change and the Act 221. There was also another comment regarding another suggestion regarding addition of a wider landscape median on the edge of Wahi Street and more a bigger planter strip. So subject to your questions, I guess that was a long summary. Okay.
Any questions on the staff report? But I have one. So how are we gonna address SB 1413, Act 221 going forward?
Yeah, Chair, maybe if I may jump in on this one. I'm gonna take it at 2 levels. I mean, right now, you know, the applicant is generally follows like considerations of flood level and flood level plain in their design of the building, other considerations. The SB 1417 was intended as kind of a very broad view of climate change resiliency and how buildings and development should be sited in our Kakako and Kalaeloa district. I mean, I think the bill was a laudable example of trying to address and sea level rise and the effects of it in development. However, I think in order to implement that bill, we're going to have to engage in extensive community engagement, you know, with landowners, other stakeholders in both districts to get their feedback on sort of how to meaningfully implement these rules so that it balances both the need to address climate change, resiliency, adaptation, not now, but in the future, and then also allow for, you know, development within those 2 districts. So I think that's how we're going to have to address Senate Bill 1417 Act 221. The rulemaking process is going to take, you know, maybe at least 4 months to, you know, start the engagement process. I think we're going to have to get a consultant to help us with the community engagement for both districts. Again, to get meaningful rules and requirements in place on a prospective basis.
We need to address that.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Chair.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Did I hear EV mentioned as a concern?
Yeah, you did, member poll, but I think what, it was, not EV in the IVI sense, it was more, voltaic charging.
I got it. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, we have to be mindful, we have to be mindful of, all the acronyms that we use, so, but.
Hey,
I would
all words that end in a vowel it refers to Hawaiians.
And of course, the applicant is absolutely
Yeah.
committed, right, to following, succeeding and
yes,
protecting.
yes.
IUV components.
On the other EV.
Okay, just trying to do my job.
Yeah, and you're doing your job well. Cool. Thanks for the clarification.
Okay,
Ryan, I do have another question. So in regards to the tower separation,
Yes.
I know the master plan, I think it's at 300 square feet, and this is 137, right? So has there a study or anything that was submitted to you as far as the potential effects of that lessening of that square footage?
So, and I think it's more distance, so it's a distance. So, I think the rules, it's a recommendation, right? So it's a should, not necessarily to the extent practical. So it's not necessarily a shall. The application does show the location of the towers and kind of the overlap.
But was there any study or anything that said that might have any effects because of the
I don't
distance?
believe that there's actually kind of a visual study, with renderings or that type of analysis.
Maybe I'll ask the applicant.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for that. Any other questions?
It's Kevin Sakota.
Yes, member Sakota.
I just gotta reiterate the concern over the SB 1417 issue. It's just from my standpoint, rereading it, it puts kind of plainly in writing sort of the responsibility on the HCDA. So I want to get that cleared up. I don't really understand what our role should be and what we have to do to fulfill that. The other is actually with regards to building separation. Ryan, it would help me and maybe the rest of the board to just kind of review how all the other towers are separated. Selfishly, one of my concerns is looking at the proximity of these new buildings, the Block D and Block E buildings, also to Anaha. I know there's some issues with distance from the face of the building, but diagonally also, it looks from the pictures, looks a little tight. But I know that I think previously we have sort of looked at the distance. I mean, when I look at the distance between Io and Ali'i, I mean, it's definitely within closer proximity than the suggested 300 feet. So I could use your opinion on that and see how what we've done in the past and any impacts kind of going forward that we should be concerned about.
Member Sakota, I'll let Ryan take the tower separation question, and I'll go over the SB 1417. So, under the terms of Act 21, SB 1417, the bill was worded necessarily in general terms because at that time, and as this bill was going through the legislative process, we didn't know what the requirements should be as far as siting, orientation, other kinds of issues that might be related to addressing climate change, sea level rise, and resiliency. It was necessarily worded generally, and we told the legislators that we needed to really carefully consider. We supported the bill wholeheartedly, but needed to promulgate rules so that we could look at the effects of this on individual landowners by location and other things. Just because I think we wanted to balance development with the laudable goal of addressing climate change. So it was worded generally intentionally with an idea that we would engage in extensive community engagement to get input from landowners, stakeholders, and other interested parties, including the Sea Grant folks, NOAA, to get their thoughts, and OPSD.
All right, thank you. It's just, when I read the signed bill, that I think it's number 9 or I think number 9.9 or 10. It's pretty clear what that states. So that's what's concerning me on how to address that going forward. And I'd like some clarity on that going forward.
Yeah, number 10 was added to address the climate change. So it's still broadly worded, although it seems specific, but we do have to get input from community stakeholders on it. And I'll update the board. I'm gonna have to come back to the board to get authorization to go up to community engagements.
Okay. Another concern of mine, just, from the developer standpoint, I mean, I realize that they're sort of under a time pressure in terms of the master plan deadline. I think it's sometime in January 2024. So I'm not sure what pressures that puts on the entire process, or if we need to look at extending that deadline to facilitate, to be fair to all sides, right?
Yeah, on the end of the expiration of the master plan, I think, the decision to extend it is one that's kind of up to Howard Hughes, to Victoria Ward Limited, to decide if they want to extend. I mean, to date, I think all indications are that will not, Howard Hughes with Victoria Ward is not going to extend the end of the master plan termination. Remember, I'm gonna add on.
Thank you.
Yeah, with regards to the tower spacing, again, there's exhibit 33 in the applicant materials. It does show the spacing, at least for block D. Again, the issue of the encroachment just affects essentially the 2 towers of this development, right? Block D and block E, so that the 147 feet is just between those 2 towers. There is sufficient space with regards to the surrounding developments. Again, the applicant did note that the 2 towers in the central location does allow for the larger size for the Dinant Plaza, and then also the preservation of the IBM building. And that they are sharing loading and retail, retail concord. So that's, the benefits from that consolidated location. Again, in terms
Just
of
generally, I mean, what do you think the distance is between the Block D building and Anaha? I mean, it looks like it's like about 140, 150 feet as well, right?
It does. Again, I think our rules were designed to mainly look at the lateral, look at the ends of the buildings. I think our rules were also more focused on the orientation of the buildings to allow for kind of the Malcolm Mackay views and just preventing the kind of blockage of the long sides along the views. So I think that was the main goal of it. I know anecdotally, just professionally, I'm aware that other communities, like in Vancouver, they do very detailed analysis of the view planes between the buildings and between units and buildings to make sure that like nobody's view is blocked. They also have a very different form where they use a lot of skinny towers instead of these longer buildings. But that's not what we have here in our rules and our plans. So.
Any other questions in regards to the staff report? Thank you, Ryan. If there's none, we'll proceed. Um, Let's introduce the parties and see them. Will counsel for the applicant please describe your exhibits that you wish to have admitted to the record?
Yes, thank you, Chair Shi. Victoria Ward moves into evidence its exhibits listed in its exhibits list for Block D and Block E, which were both filed on July 12, 2023. And for Block D, those exhibits are marked as exhibits D-1 through D-30. And for Block E, those exhibits are marked as exhibits E-1 through E-32.
Okay, members, do you have any objections to the exhibits being offered by the applicant? Does the executive director have any objections to the exhibits being offered by the applicant?
No objections, Chair.
Hearing no objections, the applicant's exhibits D1 through D30 and E1 through E32 are admitted to the record. Will you be establishing any of your witnesses as experts in the subject area? If so, please make your presentation at this time.
Thank you very much. Victoria Ward requests to qualify certain witnesses as expert witnesses in their respective fields of expertise, as stated in Victoria Ward's witness list for Block D and Block E filed on July 12, 2023. Those witnesses in their respective areas of expertise for both Block D and E are Tom Schnell for urban planning, Joseph Ferraro for architecture, Ashley Langworthy for neighborhood streetscape and park design, Emilia Peach for retail commercial strategy, Glenn Kawai for civil engineering, Kathy Leon for traffic engineering, Paul Brubaker for economics, Chad Takesui for real estate marketing, supply and demand, Matt McDermott for archaeology, and Malia Ka'aikui for Hawaiian culture, history, and language.
Members, do you have any objections to the qualification of expert witnesses offered by the applicant? Does the executive director have any objections to the expert witnesses offered by the applicant?
No objections, Chair.
Hearing no objections, the list of experts offered by the applicant is hereby accepted and qualified in their various subject matters and areas with the receipt of all exhibits and lists of experts being entered into the record. Let us proceed with our hearing. You may now call your first witness.
Thank you very much, Chair Shi. For purposes of the record and for efficiency and clarity, since this hearing is for both Block D and E, we will call each of our witnesses who will testify as to both Block D and E, and they will be available for any questions from the board on both projects at the same time, if that's acceptable.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Shi, our first witness is Kailani Sodaro.
Good morning. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony that you'll be providing is the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Ms. Sodaro, can you please state your name, occupation, and position for the record, please?
Kailani Sodaro, Senior Vice President, Planning and Development, Victoria Ward Limited.
And please share with us the designs and features of Block D and Block E.
We're very excited about the pedestrian connectivity, synergy, and activations that Block B and E in combination with the Diamond Head Plaza Park and the IBM building will generate in this area of Ward Village. Both Block D and Block E are designed with a keen focus on pedestrian and community activation and engagement, architectural details, and providing cohesive and comfortable access across Land Block 4 and to areas throughout Ward Village. Block D will be between the Diamond Head Plaza Park and Block E. The architectural design of Block D is layered and diverse, with inspiration drawn from historically notable architects such as Bertram Goodhue, Julia Morgan, and Charles Dickey, all who designed many of Honolulu's most beloved homes and buildings. The ground floor, Block D, combined with E, includes approximately 15,000 square feet of commercial space along an arched and covered colonnade on Oahe Street, reminiscent of the classic design of the Dillingham Transportation Building near the waterfront in downtown Honolulu, and an area overlooking an outdoor dining terrace at the Diamond Head Plaza Park. The colonnade provides easy and comfortable access to the park and open plaza with public art on Oahe Street and the pedestrian colonnade in the adjacent Block E. I wanted to take a moment to highlight the features of the Diamond Head Plaza Park adjacent to Block D and along the Kamakee Street view corridor. With about an acre of open space, the park will feature extensive landscaping, shade trees, walking paths, benches, lawn seating, gathering areas, a keiki play area, and an outdoor dining open air terrace adjacent to the commercial space on the other side of Block D. The landscape plan includes an extensive palette of shade and ornamental trees, indigenous flora, including shrubs and ground covering inspired from the existing native botanical garden at the IBM building. In addition to the pedestrian activation and features along Oahe Street, Block D's architecture and streetscape along Ala Moana Boulevard is engaging and encourages leisure, walking, and gathering with features including lush landscaping, a meandering pathway, pocket parks, seating niches, and decorative lighting. The architecture of the podium provides a classic streetscape experience with modern touches. Complementing the colonnade on Oahe Street, the Ala Moana Boulevard streetscape recalls early 20th century Honolulu with stone masonry facades featuring natural stone and bronze details and an architectural design that reduces the visual scale of the podium through the appearance of smaller separate structures. Here are several images of our floor plans for Block D. Turning to Block E is designed to seamlessly connect with and complement Block D within the overall context of Land Block 4. Strategically situated between Block D on the other side of the land block and the IBM building on the Diamond Head side of the block, Block E integrates with D and further enhances pedestrian activation, interest, and connectivity within the land block. Like Block D, Block E also draws architectural inspiration from the same celebrated architects and aims to foster pedestrian activity through ground floor commercial spaces, wide sidewalks, and extensive landscaping. Block E includes nearly 7,500 square feet of the 15,000 square feet when combined with Block D for commercial space lining on Oahe Street within the retail colonnade that transitions to the neighboring Block D colonnade, thus providing a continued cover shaded retail pathway along a significant portion of Land Block 4, fronting Oahe Street, thereby activating and encouraging pedestrian circulation, gathering and interest along the Oahe Street pedestrian promenade. Consistent with its role as the Diamond Head entrance toward Village near the landmark IBM building, Block E includes a sheltered two-story pickup and drop-off area on the Diamond Head side of the building with architectural features that emphasize this corner as a gateway toward Village along the Oahe Street pedestrian promenade. Similar to Block D, Block E's ground floor spaces also feature broad sidewalks, berms, planters, and seating niches. The streetscape along Ala Moana Boulevard for Block E complements that of Block D and is engaging with landscaping, more pocket parks, planted berms, sidewalk seating, encouraging people to stroll and gather. Block E's facade at street level similarly embodies the traditional architecture of the earliest 20th century Honolulu and is designed to reduce the visual scale of the podium through architectural elements that include screening, articulation, windows, thus creating variety and interest along the boulevard and a sense of smaller structures lining the podium. Block E also embraces native landscaping inspired by the indigenous flora of the shoreline and lowland areas. This landscaping is designed to thematically connect the entire Ala Moana Boulevard streetscape along Land Block 4. Because the elements are already existing at the Botanical Garden fronting the IBM building, with interpretive signage, will it continue to integrate into the Ala Moana Boulevard streetscapes for Block E, D, and the Diamond Head Plaza Park. Here are several images of our floor plans for Block E. The tower of Block E, as well as Block D, continues the classic yet modern urbanism of the podium through a variety of architectural elements, including similar natural stone facades, screening and windows. Both towers feature an angled L-shaped design that maintains a Malkamakai view corridor. Both Block D and Block E focus on the familiar Honolulu architectural heritage, significant pedestrian engagement and activation, and placemaking in this key location within Ward Village. Their designs are inspired by the historical and cultural elements of Honolulu, and both projects have been developed with extensive thought on developing Land Block 4 in a way that preserves the IBM building and situates the Diamond Head Plaza Park across the entrance to Ala Moana Beach Park. This design approach contributes to creating a vibrant, walkable, and engaging environment for residents and visitors.
Thank you very much. What are the economic impacts anticipated from both Block D and Block E?
As with other Ward Village developments, Block D and Block E will provide significant economic contributions to our state and local economy. Accounting for additional indirect and induced economic impacts, the construction of Block D is estimated to generate approximately $672 million in output, $226 million in workers' earnings, $41 million in state tax revenue, $1 million towards our DOE school impact fees, and 483 annual average jobs over the course of the project, with a peak of over 1,000 jobs. Block D's operations and maintenance over a 30-year period are anticipated to generate a present value of constant 2022 dollars, approximately $140 million in output, $46 million in workers' earnings, $8 million in state tax revenue, 16 permanent jobs, and $153 million in real property tax. Block E's economic impact and contributions are similarly significant. And accounting for additional indirect and induced economic impacts, the construction of Block E is estimated to generate $692 million in output, $233 million in workers' earnings, a little over $42 million in state tax revenue, $500,000 in DOE school impact fees, over 500 annual jobs through the project, and again, over 1,000 jobs in the peak of the project. Block E's operations and maintenance over a 30-year period are anticipated to generate a present value of constant 2022 dollars, approximately $134 million in output, $44 million in worker earnings, $8 million in state tax revenue, 15 permanent jobs, and $180 million in real property taxes. We are proud of our continued commitment and investment in Ward Village, Kaka'ako, urban Honolulu, and meaningfully contributing to our state's economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sodaro. Chair Ishii, Victoria Ward has no further questions for Ms. Sodaro at this time. Just for the record, she was referring to Exhibit D-30, which is a slide presentation and is identical to Exhibit U-30, and other witnesses will be referring to that as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Members or Executive Director Nakamoto, do you have any questions for this witness?
None from the chair.
Members, any questions?
I do. It's Kevin Sakota.
Yes, Member Scotto.
Good morning, Kailani. I just want to get your opinion or your reaction to the issues with this SB 1417. I mean, I'm putting myself in the developer's shoes. It has to kind of make you a little bit nervous that this is put into law and how to proceed within the rules. Do you have any concerns or comments about it?
Thank you for the opportunity to address it, Member Sakota. Well, we support the intent of Act 221 and that of what we need to do as a community to be climate resilient. We do have other expert witnesses who can speak to our compliance in doing that in the design that we have proposed in the PDP through flood mitigation, as well as the elevation of occupied levels and complying with the latest FEMA maps and other. So I'll defer to them to maybe speak to some of those technical questions. We believe that we are compliant with Act 221. Our PDP was deemed complete on June 13th of 2023. The enactment is dated July 5th. Nonetheless, we think our PDP and additional technical studies that we provided with wind and other weathering of our infrastructure and other occupiable floors, it meets the intent of the rules that Executive Director Nakamoto mentioned the agency needs to go through to better articulate, for the public to understand how Act 221 will be operationalized by the agency. But we're confident and believe in long-term planning anyway, as we have across our other projects. And I think, the fact that we very early on were striving for and granted the ND neighborhood development designation by USGBC. We have 8 towers that are LEED certified or higher rated. We have 5 pending registrations for our continued projects. And so we actively welcome the state becoming resilient and are currently incorporating those goals into our own projects. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. As a follow-up, just looking at the whole of Ward Village, it's pretty amazing what's happened over the last, at least the time I've been involved. It's pretty impressive. But looking at Block D and Block E, what comes to my mind is, was this always in the plan to build the 2 towers in those lots? Because I know the plan changed for, I think it's Block 2? There were supposed to be 2 towers and then turned into 1, right? Over, I don't know, it was maybe 5-6 years ago, I think. So has it always been sort of in the master plan for Howard Hughes to put 2 buildings in Block D and Block E? Or has that changed recently with the market and with the kind of the range of, I guess, product of condominiums that they're putting out there?
Sure. Broadly speaking, correct, over the last 15 years, the master plan, and it was written such, for all of us looking back to contemplate flexibility and adaptability, which through every project PDP that's come before the authority has continued to evolve and demonstrate that flexibility and adaptability to both market and, other requirements of the authority that has contemplated different changes. I think you maybe are referencing siting, but for the number of towers, we are still within what was always contemplated on the master plan level that we're presenting today. These are L-shaped towers. They're not our traditional rectilinear towers, which we did to better preserve the Malcolm Mackay corridor view planes. Locating the Diamond Head Park, and this was discussed under prior PDPs that we came before, that where the Diamond Head Park Plaza enhances the Kamakea view corridor substantially and really mirrors the prominence of the Ala Moana Beach Park entry and creating a very true public benefit we feel to in enhancing the park connection throughout Ward Village and that of Kakako.
Any other questions?
great.
for this?
Thank you.
If not, please call your next witness.
Okay, thank you very much. Victoria Ward calls Tom Schnell, who will be appearing by Zoom.
Hello, board members. I'm sorry I can't be there in person. My voice is not great.
Morning. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony that you will be providing is the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Schnell, can you please state your name, place of employment, and position for the record, please?
So my name is Tom Schnell. I'm with PBR Hawaiian Associates, and I'm a principal and a planner at the firm.
Thank you. And can you please tell us about the overall planning and approach and considerations regarding the area where Block D and Block E will be located?
So Block D and Block E, along with the Diamond Head Plaza Park and the iconic IBM building around line Block 4 of the Ward Master Plan area, Collectively, Block D and E and Diamond Head Plaza Park will significantly enhance pedestrian experiences. Land Block 4 is bounded by Oahe Street to the north, Kamakei Street to the west, Queen Lane to the east, and Ala Moana Boulevard to the south. The historic and fully renovated IBM building designed by Vladimir Astafas is at the Diamond Head end of Land Block 4 and provides office space for special community events. Can we go to the next slide here? Yeah. There we go. Yeah, so this is a little bit closer up of Land Block 4 with the IBM building along Queen Lane on the right, Diamond Head Plaza Park along Kamakei Street on the left. Okay. So the IBM building also represents the history of mid-century Kakako and is an anchor for the Diamond Head Plaza. For the Diamond Head entrance to Ward Village. On the opposite side of Land Block 4, bordering Kamakei Street, Diamond Head Plaza Park will provide about an acre of open green space, inclusive of the dining plaza and new sidewalks. Victoria Ward Limited carefully considered and balanced the community benefits related to the placement of Block D and Block E in relation to Diamond Head Plaza Park and the IBM building on Land Block 4. The Diamond Head Plaza Park is on the Ewa end of Land Block 4. This location ensures that the Kamakei Street, Malka Makai view corridor is enhanced and as an open green space instead of a podium and tower. Kaiori was just mentioning that. The Diamond Head Plaza Park is one of the 3 major open spaces contemplated in the Ward Master Plans. The others are the park near Ulana Ward Village and the nearly 3.5 acre Victoria Ward Park. HCDA reviewed and accepted the current location of the Diamond Head Plaza Park in 2021 as part of the A'ali'i Condition 19, which required the submission of a concept plan and other information for the park. The IBM building on the Diamond Head side of the park collectively, the IBM building and the Diamond Head Plaza Park collectively account for more than 1/3 of the development area of Land Block 4. Therefore, each of the lots for Block D and Block E are the smallest lots in Ward Village along Ala Moana Boulevard. And each lot is the smallest permissible size under the vested rules for the design of each building. The comprehensive planning for Land Block 4, including the placement of Block D and Block E within the midsection of the land block and in proximity to each other, accommodates these considerations while also allowing for a cohesive and activated ground floor pedestrian experience and ease of access along Oahe Street and Ala Moana Boulevard, and accentuating the unique aspects of each building's features. Sorry,
Thank you, Mr.
really going out, sorry. Hope you can understand me.
Yes, let us know if you need to take a drink of water there. Can you please describe the planning details of Block D and E?
So as noted, Block D will be in the Land Block 4. Will be in Land Block 4 of the Ward Master Plan area between Oahe Street to the north, the future Diamond Head Plaza Park to the west, Block E to the east, and the Ala Moana Boulevard to the south. There we go. Block D will provide approximately 489,800 square feet of new floor area, including nearly 8,300 square feet of ground floor commercial space, approximately 65,600 square feet of indoor and outdoor recreation areas, approximately 481,500 square feet of residential floor area, over 5,000 square feet of ground floor open space. And just for the record, to correct one of the figures on this slide, which comes from page 32, exhibit D-30 and E-30, the projected maximum height of Block D will be approximately 400 feet plus 18 feet for the rooftop elements. We got the number wrong on the slide now. Okay. So Block D will be in land block 4 of the Ward Master Plan area between Oahe Street to the north, Malka, D, Block D to the west, Eva, the IBM building to the east, Diamond Head, and Ala Moana Boulevard to the south, Kai. Block D will provide approximately 489,800 square feet of new floor area, nearly 7,500 square feet of ground level commercial space, approximately 81,000 square feet of indoor and outdoor recreation areas, approximately 482,300 square feet of residential floor area, approximately 700 square feet of ground floor area, and a projected maximum height of approximately 400 feet plus 18 feet rooftop elements. For the record, we've submitted an errata to the appendices H and I of Block D application to include the correct wind and acoustical consultant letters. These are marked as hearing exhibits E-31 and E-32 respectively.
Great, thank you, Mr. Snell. So let's very briefly discuss the major criteria HCD is required to consider with respect to these projects pursuant to HRS 206-5.6. Will Block D and E protect, preserve, and enhance desirable neighborhood characteristics through compliance with the standards and guidelines of the vested rules?
Yes, table 5-2 of each application summarizes Block D and Block E's respective conformance with the vested rules and the Ward Master Plan. The exhibits in the application also illustrate in detail how Block D and Block E comply with the vested rules and the Ward Master Plan.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Schnell. Appreciate your testimony. Just a couple more questions. Are you familiar with the wind study letter and the shade study for the project, which was included in the PDP application?
Yes, I'm familiar with them.
And does the wind study and the shade study take into account the placement of the towers for the project?
Yes, it does.
And are you familiar with the tower spacing for other projects within the Malka area?
Generally, yes.
And are there instances that you're aware of within the Malka area where the tower spacing is less than the advisory spaces noted in the vested rules?
Oh, yeah, I could cite several examples where the tower spacing is less than 300 feet. Yeah.
Okay, and if you could just briefly cite those examples within the Malka area.
Well, for example, Keola Lai on South Street and Queen Street is pretty close to 801 South Street. That building is very close. There's been some other instances in Ward Village. Kalai and Kalai is less than 300 feet from the project. I forget his name. The Kobayashi project. At one.
That's the Aliyah project.
What's that? Aliyah. Yeah. There's instances where the new Mahana Ward Village is slightly less than 300 square feet at a certain point from A'ali'i. There's several instances.
And that would also be the case for Ali and Aieo, is that correct?
Yes, I believe so.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Schnell. Chair Ishii, Victoria Ward has no further questions from Mr. Schnell at this time. He is available for any questions.
Members or Executive Director Nakamoto, do you have any questions for this witness?
Chair, if I may, if members don't have any question. Mr. Snell, thank you for being available. I know you have a cold, so I'll just try to ask one question, if I may.
All right.
In going back to 2021 and the Ali application and the location of the Diamond Head Plaza. Can you refresh a little bit on the planning considerations that Victoria Ward used to kind of change the location of the Diamond Head Plaza?
You
If
mean,
you can.
oh, how did it get from the current?
Yeah.
Show the master plan to where it is now?
Correct, this is a planning consideration, if you can.
I wasn't involved in that specific planning decision, but I know the current location of the Diamond Head Plaza now results in a greater view corridor through Kamakee Street. It also avoids putting the tower directly in front of Anaha and in too close proximity to Waiea, which would be across the street. So if the Diamond Head Plaza Park were not there, there would be more conflicts with the tower spacing rules for many other buildings.
Thank you, Mr. Thurston.
Any other questions for this witness? If not, thank you. Can you call your next witness, please?
Yes. Our next witness is Joseph Ferraro.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony that you will be providing is the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Mr. Ferraro, for the record, can you please state your name, place of employment and position, please?
Hi, my name is Joseph Ferraro. I'm chairman of the board and principal of Ferraro Choi and Associates.
And you provided written testimony for Block D, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
And you also provided written testimony for Block E, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Chair Ishii, we rest on Mr. Ferraro's written testimony, which has been marked and introduced and accepted as Exhibit D-9 and Exhibit E-9. He is available for any questions from the board.
Thank you. Members or Executive Director Nakamura, do you have any questions for this witness?
None, Chair.
None? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can we call your next witness?
Thank you very much. Victoria Ward calls Ashley Langworthy, who will be appearing by Zoom.
Present.
Ashley, please raise your right hand. Please swear that the testimony that you will be providing is the truth.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Langworthy. Can you please state your name, place of employment, and position for the record, please?
Yes. Ashley Langworthy, Vice President of Biederman Redevelopment Ventures.
And what does BRV do?
BRV is a placemaking firm with over 25 years of experience creating, redeveloping, and operating parks, public spaces, neighborhood streetscapes, and public realms of mixed-use projects across the United States.
And what has BRV been retained to do for these projects that we're discussing today, blocks D and E?
Yes, BRV is advising Victoria Ward on pedestrian activations, streetscape, and sense of place for the project in related areas, the modifications requested for blocks D and E. BRV is also consultant to Victoria Ward on placemaking and activation opportunities throughout Ward Village.
And how do blocks D and E facilitate the Ward Neighborhood Master Plan's vision of providing the three major connected spaces?
Yes, blocks D and E are within Land Block 4 of the Ward Master Plan, which also includes the IBM building on the Diamond Head side of the land block. Positioning block D and E together within the land block allows for the nearly 1 acre Diamond Head Plaza Park to be located on the EVA end of the land block, thus preserving the view corridor through Kamakee Street and the intersection with Ala Moana Boulevard and the entrance to Ala Moana Beach Park. Blocks D and E will front Oahe Street, which when realigned to connect with Pokukaina Street west of Ward Avenue will conveniently link blocks D and E with the two other major open spaces within Ward Village, Victoria Ward Park and the Kalai o Kukula'eo Park, adjacent to Ulana Ward Village.
And do these public spaces planned in connection with the blocks D and E advance the Ward Neighborhood Master Plan's vision of providing appropriate placemaking opportunities for pedestrian experiences and activation?
Yes. Blocks D and E bring together many of the placemaking and pedestrian activation strategies contemplated in the Ward Master Plan, including wide sidewalks, shade trees and lush landscaping, minimal curb cuts, ground floor commercial space, planted berms, pocket parks, which are approximately the size of racquetball courts, and aesthetically pleasing facades that will screen the podium parking garages. Here's a look at Block E's landscape plan, also showing the placemaking and pedestrian features of Block E, which integrate with the features of Block D. Also illustrating these strategies is Figure 4.1 of Block D application and Figure 4.1 of Block E's application. Block D faces the Diamond Head Plaza Park, which will serve as a community gathering place with lush landscaping, including native plants, shade and flowering trees, a keiki play area, water feature, dining terrace, and ample lawn and bench seating. Both blocks D and E and the Diamond Head Plaza Park will be unified along Ala Moana Boulevard with the preserved IBM building through a linear botanical garden pathway with interpretive signage extending the entire length of land block 4 along Ala Moana Boulevard. This slide has inspirational and illustrative landscaping and public realm programming along the Ala Moana Boulevard streetscape for both Block D and Block E. And here we see the inspirational and illustrative landscaping and public realm programming for the Diamond Head Park Plaza on the EVA end of land block 4, adjacent to Block D.
Let's turn to the Oahe Street side. Do blocks D and E advance the Ward Neighborhood Master Plan's vision of redeveloping Oahe Street as a pedestrian-oriented urban promenade?
Yes, Block D and E's ground floor along Oahe Street activates and adds visual interest to the street level, creating a draw for residents and visitors and activating Oahe Street as envisioned in the Ward Master Plan as a pedestrian-oriented urban promenade. Block D and E's podium both include an arched retail colonnade, which will have combined nearly 16,000 square feet of ground floor retail space along the Makai side of Oahe Street, which will complement the South Shore Market and Oahe shops on the Mauka side of the street. The design of the retail colonnade effectively accommodates the necessary elevation from Oahe Street sidewalk due to FEMA and city flood mitigation requirements. Both Block D and E, for example, have extensive ground floor landscaping as well as shade, seating, and other hardscape features, including multiple sets of easily accessible stairs, which are consistent with best practices to create visual and physical accessibility and visual interest to activate the public realm. I believe that the required elevation of the retail colonnade above the street level will not affect access or pedestrian activation along Oahe Street in light of these design features. The colonnade will provide shade and protection from the elements while also allowing natural trade winds to provide comfortable outdoor spaces for strolling, dining, and gathering. The commercial space along Block D also faces an outdoor dining area within the Diamond Head Plaza Park that will further activate the park. The retail colonnade for both blocks D and E are integrated and are conveniently accessible to pedestrians, bicyclists, and visitors traveling by vehicle to the district parking garage at the Ward Village Shop and South Shore Market, all of which is intentionally designed to generate sufficient footfall needed to support the success of the retail and recreational activities in the area.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Langworthy. Chair Ishii, Victoria Ward has no further questions for Ms. Langworthy, and she is available for any questions from you.
Members or Executive Director Nakamoto, do you have any questions for this witness?
Chair, I just have one question if I may.
Yes.
Ms. Langworthy, thanks for being available. I just wanted to kind of turn your attention to the Ala Moana Boulevard frontage. And I know you spoke about this in general terms, but can you maybe describe specifically? I know we've had a lot of discussions about pedestrian activation on the Ala Moana frontage side, but can you describe what you've done in the design and the streetscape for Ala Moana Boulevard to increase pedestrian activation and that sort of thing?
Yes. So more specifically, yeah, as you know, Ala Moana Boulevard is a busy street, but it's an important transportation corridor, and we do expect that a lot of people will want to walk and bike along this edge. And so we have tried to make it as pleasant as possible on that edge. It is going to be very heavily landscaped and a lot of shade trees so that it's a very comfortable environment to walk along and encourage walking, and also small gatherings. There are pocket parks that are, as I mentioned, roughly the size of racquetball court. So a place to stop and gather. And then there will be botanical garden elements, and we're envisioning with interpretive signage along the way, so folks could stop and, you know, read about those plantings, and then there'll be informal seating areas along that edge. And so this is meant to connect the block with the other open spaces and public realm spaces and be very comfortable along that edge.
Thank you, Ms. Steinworthy. And Chair, if I can just add, a lot of these design elements were really the result of a lot of discussions between Victoria Ward Limited, Janet Mikilau, our planner, Brian Tam, and Sari Burhanu. So I just wanted to acknowledge and thank them for the input in creating that and working with Howard Hughes on the pedestrian realm on Ala Moana and the help of cooperation of Victoria Ward Limited.
Thank you. I have a question. So with the development, if this goes through, how many public parking stalls will be eliminated in that area?
I'll pass that over to Victoria Ward to answer.
Carrie, she will have another witness address that issue.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions for this witness? Not, thank you very much. Please call your next witness.
Yes, thank you. Our next witness is Emilia Peach.
Morning. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony that you'll be providing is the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Peach. Can you please state your name, place of employment, and position for the record, please?
Yes, Emilia Peach, I'm with Colliers International. I'm the vice president there.
And you provided written testimony for Block D, is that correct?
Correct.
And you also provided written testimony for Block E, correct?
Correct.
Chair Ishii, we rest on Ms. Peach's written testimony, which has been received into evidence as Exhibit P-15 and Exhibit E-15. And she is available for any questions by the board for both Blocks D and E.
Thank you. Any questions for this witness? Chair. I have a question. So being in the commercial real estate field that you are, what do you anticipate tenant profiles to look like for that commercial space if this is to go?
So throughout the entire 60 acres of Ward Village, we have a thorough merchandising plan that goes through all of it. We work with a lot of local tenants, subnationals. It will be an array of retail, cafes, restaurants, and majority of them probably being local.
So when you look at the makeup of the tenants in that commercial area, are you looking at smaller commercial spaces, or do you know what the design thoughts were as far as the tenants mix?
I would say we haven't gotten that far at this point. There is different ways of chopping up the square footage provided, 8,000 in one, 7,500 in the other. So it is a moving, you can move depending on the needs of the different various tenants.
Okay, so there's really no discussion at this point as far as sort of mix?
Size wise, it varies. But it's a mixture between locals with the retail, cafes and restaurants and nationals as it pertains to the merchandising plan.
I see. Okay, thank you. Any other questions for this witness? No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Please
Chair
call your
Shi.
next witness.
Our next witness is Glenn Kauai, who will be appearing by Zoom.
Present.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony that you will be providing is the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Kauai. Can you please state your name, place of employment and position, please?
My name is Glenn Kauai. I'm the Vice President and Director of Civil Engineering at Wilson Okamoto Corporation.
And you provided written testimony for Block D, correct?
Yes, I did.
And you also provided written testimony for Block E, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Chair Shi, we rest on Mr. Kauai's written testimony, which has been received into evidence as Exhibit D-18 and Exhibit E-18, and he is available for any questions by the board.
Thank you. Members or Executive Director Nakamoto, do you have any questions for the witness?
No, from me, Chair.
No. Thank you very much. You may call your next witness.
Thank you. Our next witness is Kathy Leong, who will also be appearing by Zoom.
I'm here.
Ms. Leong, will you please raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony that you will be providing is the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Leong. Can you please state your name, place of employment, and position, please?
Yes, my name is Kathy Leong. I'm the Director of the Transportation Group at Wilson Okamoto Corporation.
And Ms. Leong, you provided written testimony for Block D, is that right?
Yes, I did.
And you also provided written testimony for Block E, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Ms. Leong, I do have one question for you. Chair Shi asked about the change in the parking as a result of this project. On this lot in replacement of the current uses. Can you address Victoria Ward's parking strategy with respect to the parking within Ward Village?
Just to clarify, you're asking me about just their overall strategy with regards to parking. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And is that acceptable, Chair?
That is correct.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so the strategy for the overall Ward Village areas with all their projects, as far as parking is concerned, is they do have regional parking areas that are intended for their commercial or business uses with only residential parking located on site per project. So they've tried to address the parking needs in sort of a holistic approach to make sure that they're separating the different types of demands for parking and then making sure that they're consolidated and make the most out of the spaces that they've allocated for parking for other uses.
And I guess my question was, how many stalls are being eliminated with these two residential projects? And what is the strategy or the thought process on where these individuals, where the public will now park that were parking there accordingly, especially in the sense that you'll have commercial tenants, and where will those tenants park as well?
So with regards to the number of stalls, I'm afraid I can't answer that question because that was not part of the scope of work that we did for the project. With regards to the approach of where the people who are intending to access the tenants there, the parking is intended to be encompassed in the regional parking areas. So for the closest parking area for these blocks would be across the street.
So the strategy basically is to utilize the existing public parking that's available currently.
Yes.
To suffice this new project.
For
and
the
and the new
commercial,
sector, correct.
right, but they will be accommodating their residential uses on site.
And Chair Ishii, Ms. Sodara is also prepared to also add some additional information to this. So if there are no objections after Ms. Leong is done, we'd like to request Ms. Sodara to also add some additional information.
Thank you. Any other questions for this witness? If not, thank you. You may call your next witness.
Thank you, Chair Shi. So we do rest on the remainder of Ms. Leong's testimony, and at this time, we'd like to recall Ms. Sodara.
Yeah. Swearing again.
No need to.
No need to, right?
Need to swear more.
You've been sworn in.
Okay, I'll take that. I think Chair's question was specifically how many parking stalls will be removed. as a
Right,
result of
and the
it.
strategy, right? Because as it
Sure
is, you know, you see that I mean, I understand that
Yeah,
the thought process was to utilize across the street.
Mhm.
But that parking lot is already quite full during peak times.
sure.
So that's my
Happy
question.
to supplement to Ms. Leong's, the regional, the master plan approach. So specifically, there are 611 parking stalls that are in the Ward Center garage that will be redistributed. And so some of our prior conversation talked about how we're in this inflection point of converting and building new district garages, primarily at the Park Ward Village and then also at Ilana. And so on a master plan level, we are actually over delivering the number of public or available to our retail and commercial customers parking stalls by over 300 stalls than are required. So what does that really translate into? About 2,500 parking stalls throughout the master plan located in regional districts that now support all the street facing sidewalk level retail that we have. And so, blocks D and E are proposing about 15,000 square feet of commercial. And so that commercial intensity, if you want to call that, that warranted such a large garage at Ward Center is actually now being redistributed into that Oahe Street Promenade now, which is why, we have the Park Ward Village garage coming online and all of that commercial square footage is now making its way throughout all of the retail, which would redistribute the demand, said differently, so that we wouldn't have to per se have like parking for today for what is coming in the future. So it is a weird inflection point, but in the end, when all the district garages are completed building, we will have 300 additional public stalls than were required by the current rules.
So you're saying there'll be 300 additional stalls that we-
Throughout.
Throughout.
Yeah,
How many additional square footage as far as commercial space would be?
sure. So
I
currently.
mean, I'm trying to look at the
So-
ratio.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for asking that. So Ward Center now has about 130,000 square feet of commercial square feet. And that we are in the process of redistributing, like I mentioned. So A'ali'i is fully, some stores already open and we hope to have, more openings by the end of the year. So that's 15,000 square feet. Ku'ula, we're in the process of starting tenant improvement projects for about 58,000 square feet. The Park Ward Village, which is under construction, is 33,000 square feet. Launiu has 22,000 square feet. And just those that I mentioned are 130,000 square feet rounded out. So we're just redistributing to activate the streetscapes in the public realm. So it's the same square footage, just distributed across the master plan. So Ward Center is being redistributed, that to answer your question about the square area.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Sorry, I got one for Kaiulani. While we're on the topic, I know some of the public testimony that was submitted is concerned about, I guess, the number of electric vehicle charging stations. Do you have any information or data for us on that, since we're talking about parking?
Sure thing.
Public parking, right?
So the city and county established in 2020 with the state amendments, the 2015 IECC, which is the International Energy Conservation Code. So we are complying to those design minimums of 25% of the residential parking garages being equipped with either EV supply or charger ready. So, we we know that EVs are here and we know that we see the EV customers and residents as well. We currently do have free EV charging stations in all of our commercial garages currently. They're all Voltas. I think, the technology has adapted and really in the last couple of years to that new level 3 or the fast charger, they call them. And so we do have that technology being incorporated into our commercial district garages. The Park Ward Village will have level 3. Ulana has level 2 in that design. And so we are working to the capacity of about 70 public charging stations. And, there's been a lot of evolution in that space to include third-party partnerships, which is primarily how retail districts roll out community charging. And so while I can't speak specifically to those partners, when our new district garages come on, we are actively looking to partner with additional EV charging companies to make more available to our community charge. Yeah, thank you, members of board.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions for this witness? No. Thank you. Let me call your next witness.
Thank you. Our next witness is Paul Brubaker, who is appearing by Zoom.
Aloha, everybody.
Aloha. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony that you will be providing is the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Dr. Brubaker, can you please state your name, place of employment, and position for the record, please?
Paul Brubaker, principal of TZ Economics, Hawaii Economics Consultancy.
And you provided written testimony for Block D, is that correct?
Correct.
And also provided written testimony for Block E, correct? Is that correct? And your economic reports were attached to both of those testimonies, is that right?
Yes, they were.
Chair Shi, we rest on Dr. Brubaker's written testimony and reports, which have been received into evidence as Exhibit D-22 and Exhibit E-22, and is available for any questions from the board.
Members or Executive Director Nakamoto, do you have any questions for this witness?
No.
Thank you. Let me call your next witness.
Thank you, Dr. Brubaker. Our next witness is Chad Takisui.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony that you will be providing is the truth?
I do.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Takisui. Can you please state your name, place of employment, and position for the record, please?
Chad Takisui, Realtor and Chief Operating Officer for Location Villas.
And Mr. Takisui, you provided written testimony for this matter for Block D, is that correct?
Yes.
And you also provided written testimony for Block E, is that right?
Yes.
Chair Ishii, we rest on Mr. Takisui's written testimony, which has been received into evidence as Exhibit D-24 and Exhibit E-24, and he is available for any questions by the board with respect to the project.
Thank you. Members or Executive Director Nakamoto, do you have any questions for this witness? Madam Chair. Any questions? Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me call you next witness.
Thank you, Chair Ishii. Thank you, Mr. Takisui. Our next witness is Matt McDermott.
Morning. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony that you will be providing is the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. McDermott. Can you please state your name, place of employment, and position for the record, please?
My name is Matt McDermott. I'm a principal investigator and project manager at Cultural Surveys Hawaii.
And Mr. McDermott, you provided written testimony and a report for Block D, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you also provided written testimony as well as a report for Block E, is that correct?
Yes.
Chair Ishii, we rest on Mr. McDermott's written testimony, which has been received into evidence as Exhibit D-26 and E-26. And he is available for any questions by the board on both questions.
Thank you. Members or Executive Director Nakamoto, do you have any questions for this witness? None, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me call your next witness.
Thank you, Chair Shi'i. Thank you, Ms. McDermott. Our next witness is Maria Ka'aihui.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear that testimony that you will be providing is the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Ka'aihui. Can you please state your name, place of employment and position, please?
Aloha, Ihono Malia Ka'aipoe, Kapo'a, Puta Hawaii. My name is Malia Ka'aipoe. I'm the founder and president of Puta Hawaii. Aloha.
Aloha. Ms. Ka'aihui, can you please describe the assistance that Detail provided for these projects, Block D and Block E?
Yep, Victoria Ward requested that Detail support them in the cultural integration of these projects, specifically with identifying cultural approach and opportunities for integration of cultural narratives that are relevant to the genealogy of this place, as well as coming up with name recommendations for Block D, Block E,
And you mentioned the names. Why is it important to treat the process of developing and bestowing and accepting the name for a project with respect to care?
Yeah, so names or Inoa in Hawaii are considered our most precious asset or resource. We believe that names give mana to projects, places, people, and things. And through our work, our collaborative work with Victoria Ward, we've been really careful about selecting names that will bring forth the legacy and the mana of yesterday, today, and tomorrow for this place. So that everybody that interacts with this space and gets to appreciate its genealogy as well.
And has Detail developed names for Block D and E, as well as the Diamond Head Plaza Park?
Yes, Block D, the name for Block D is Melia, Block E, Ilima, and for the Diamond Head Plaza Park, Kalei Park.
And what are the meanings and the significance of these names?
Melia speaks to the Puamelia, which is the most common lei that we have in Hawaii. It's a connection to all of our yards that have the plumeria trees. It's our local flower, so it's really an ode to the fine cultural practice of hospitality, but also a connection to that local culture that's rich and cherished amongst residents of Hawaii. And the second name for Block E, Ilima, is of course the indigenous flower of a noted flower of Oahu. It's the crown jewel of Oahu when you're thinking of flowers and lei making. Its color is also orange, which signifies its connection to royalty and ali'i. So Ilima is the second name, and the Kalei Park really brings it together in the practice of lei making. That, you know, lots of times we think about lei making as a part of hospitality, and it is for sure a part of that hospitality and that cultural practice. But you know, one story, the famous epic of Hi'iakaikapolio Pele on her journey through the islands to get lohiau for her sister Pele. She's traveling through the Lualua Lei area of this island, and she sees a handful of girls making lei with the ma'o flower and stringing the leis together, and she just touches her neck and she realizes she feels a little bare because she doesn't have a lei, right? And the girls immediately gift her the lei and invite her to dinner, and she says, I don't need any food. I'm full now. I have my lei. And so it's actually a cultural practice that is a part of our genealogy as people here in Hawaii, not just something that's part of hospitality and the tourism industry. But so the park really brings together the two names of these beautiful flowers that we use still to today to gift and to host and in ceremony as well. And yeah. That's the kind of the mana'o behind the three names.
Thank you very much. And can you please describe Victoria Ward's approach and commitment to integrating cultural narratives and elements within Ward Village, including the Ilima and the Kalei Park?
Yeah, there's a couple, other opportunities that we have. One was orientation, of course, of the buildings and keeping the Makutamakai corridors, not only for aesthetic reasons, but also for cultural and spiritual reasons as well, to keep those view planes and those opportunities open. The
the type of units that will be provided will provide for different types of ohana to be there. So smaller ohana as well as larger ohana, which we think is important in serving the residential needs of our community, as well as the commitment to really integrating the native flora and fauna throughout the project site, as well as connecting it through to the IBM site and other sites, and having opportunities for signage and storytelling around this space. But just as a community member, to be able to walk through the parks and to pick flowers and make lema mai keiki, I mean, that's an exciting opportunity to have these opportunities to share stories around, the different cultural aspects and spaces throughout the Ward Village, I think is really special.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kali Hui. Chair Ishii, Ms. Kali Hui is available for any questions.
Thank you. Members or Executive Director Nakamoto, do you have any questions for this witness? Thank you.
Mahalo.
We call you next witness.
Thank you very much, Chair Ishii. Victoria Ward has no further witnesses at this time for the presentation.
If not, yes.
Chair, before we go to public testimony, I was wondering if that's the court reporter, if she needs a 5-minute break. We've been kind of going on for a while.
Absolutely. Court reporter, do you need a 5-minute break?
That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Okay, so we will come back in 5 minutes. Thank you. Meeting back into order. Still the meeting back into order. Since the notice of the public hearing was published on Wednesday, June 14, 2023, and written testimony invited, as of today, ACDA has received 33 written testimonies, 30 in support and 3 opposition. So we will now take verbal testimony. We will now hear testimony from the public. Speakers will be called upon to testify the order in which they have signed up. Public testimony will be limited to 3 minutes each. Since each authority member has or will be given a copy of any written testimony that you may have provided, please refrain from reading your written testimony and instead summarize your comments in the time that you have available. When you are called, please clearly state your name and any organization that you're representing. If you are attending virtually, please unmute your microphone and turn on your video. The first person to call up is Mike Gomes. Please, again, limit your comments to 3 minutes. Mike Gomes.
Hi, good morning. Michael Gomes here, local resident. Submitted written testimony in support, and I'll just say that I'll stand by my written testimony. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker is Dan Dinell. Dan Dinell.
Aloha, authority members and staff. I just noticed somebody has their hand up, Brian Goldstein. I don't know if you want to take that first before I give my testimony.
Mr. Dinell, you had signed up earlier, so we'll take you first. And we'll go
Okay.
to Mr.
Okay, great. I'm Dan Dinell with Trees for Honolulu's Future. We support this development permit application. Our interest is in the green infrastructure, and we feel that Victoria Ward has done a good job in landscaping and fostering the people natural interaction. We have in our written testimony noted that we would prefer a wider landscaping planting strip along Oahe to create a larger tree canopy that really plays off of. On the Mauka side, you have really wonderful shade trees there, and trees need that space for their roots and so forth. That said, we're cognizant of the constraints that regulators put in place. We just, I think back in my time at HCDA, and we had pushed at 909 Kapiolani, HCDA pulled the sidewalk back and the city just refused to approve the plans. So you have a sidewalk along Ward Avenue there where you didn't really need a sidewalk there. So I commiserate with HCDA and the staff, but I really think, you know, if we are going to support the trees, larger planting strip along the Oahe stretch would be better. I also like to call out the strategy to create spaces that people can enjoy, and people enjoy shade, and that you don't want to be overly prescriptive in the programming. A good case in point is the park, now Calais Park. You know, create spaces that people want to be in. You don't need to program it all. It will happen if you create the right spaces, and that's what this applicant is very good at doing. So really a big plus there in their plans. And so in summary, this proposed development is additive to the overall vision of Kaka'ako. And for that reason, we're supportive and hope the authority members are as well. So thank you. Be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Call the next witness, Nathaniel Kinney. Mr. Kinney?
Board members, Nathaniel Kinney for the Hawaii Carpenters. Block D and E, both of these projects will deliver over 390 new homes, along with significant public benefits and community amenities. We'd like to note that both of these projects will have a significant economic impact with a combined estimate of about $395 million in workers' earnings and create approximately 800 jobs. And once finished, will probably generate about $70 million in state tax revenues. So the Hawaii Regional Council of Carpenters is definitely in support of the projects. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Eliza Talbot. Talbot? If not, well, we'll go to the next one. The next speaker is Byron Holt. Byron Holt.
Hello.
Morning.
Everybody hear me?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Well, members of the board, I just wanted to add, I did submit some written testimony, but I did want to add some perspective to that. I'm the Vice President of Action Rehab. We're a small business providing physical therapy and rehabilitation services, and moved into the Kaka'ako neighborhood, actually down on Coral and Oahe Streets back in 1993, and then moved over east to what was now where the theaters were, corner of Kamakee and Oahe Street. And so we've kind of grown up, or I feel that I've grown up in this community, spent more time in Kaka'ako almost than at home. And through the years, I've watched, especially recently, the development of, Kaka'ako come to fruition. And I think one of the big pluses for us as a small business is that before Ward or Victoria Ward was a destination. It was, people went shopped at Ward Warehouse, they came down to Ward Center, they ate, and then they left. And what's happened recently is, it's created not just Howard Hughes, but throughout Kaka'ako. Now we've got a community that lives here. And for small business, that impact on having that economic driver and people that live in the neighborhood and that can come to us and other businesses is just grown by leaps and bounds, and it's been just fantastic, I think, for the business environment. Also, on the other hand, I think, looking at development and how it's planned, I'm really impressed by the parks and the green space and the connectivity, not just realigning streets, but with walking paths and biking paths and and parks that people will actually come and use, and that private public partnership or benefit, especially in parks, which are so needed in the community, and the city having its hands full trying to maintain what they have, is just in a way priceless. So just wanted to add that. I want to thanks to Ward and Howard Hughes for making this all happen. Yeah, thank you for your time, consideration.
Thank you. Thank you. The next witness is Stephanie Allen. Stephanie Allen.
Hi, good morning, Chair Ishii. My name is Stephanie Allen, and I'm the founder of Wildkind alongside my 23-year-old daughter, Abby. Wildkind is my newest business concept, a total wellness company. We're rooted in compassion and created to inspire you to be your best self. We create good for you food and drinks, and we inspire you to devote your time to self-care and prioritize, whether it's through healthy eating at our cafe or by joining our online wellness community. I'd like to express how much Ward Village cares about their tenants. My husband retired from the Army after 20 years of service, and our families lived in many places that were chosen for us. But 2 years ago, we got to choose where we wanted to live, and we chose Hawaii, and that's home for us now. We are forever grateful to the Ward Village for believing in our concept and giving a small family-run business the opportunity to give back to this beautiful community. The online piece of my business started on island 2 years ago, and now, due to the support of residents in that area and Ward Village, we're so excited to launch a storefront cafe tailored to the growing community and their health needs. Wildkind is going to be located right in the heart of Ward Village, and 4 of our 5 young adult kids will be part of this family business. We've raised them and taught them the importance of serving the community and giving back. This proposed project being discussed today gives hope and confidence to many small businesses like mine in taking a risk and bringing essential services to the community. So my family asks for your support in approving these projects, as you'll be creating important and additional small business opportunities for generations to come. Mahalo for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Eliza Talbot, is Eliza Talbot here?
Hi, can you hear me?
Okay, there you are. Yes.
Thank you. Eliza Talbot, Vice President of Business Advocacy and Community Relations for the Chamber of Commerce Hawaii. We are very supportive of this project. It's very clear that we need more housing inventory at every level in order to deal with the intense housing shortage that we currently experience. So we appreciate the efforts of Howard Hughes to build more housing. We look forward to it being part of the community and the jobs and the economic development that it will contribute to our community. And we stand in support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, next speaker, Payne Meatoga.
Aloha, Chair. For the record, Pane Meatoga III, Community Liaison for Hawaii Operating Engineer Stabilization Fund. Our organization is, you've received my written testimony support of the Block E and Block D permit applications and requests for modifications. So since you have my written testimony, I just wanted to emphasize what has been previously spoken of by other testifiers in regards to the economic impact that this will have on the state's taxes, as well as economy in general, with increased employment, business activity in the area. Also, the community amenities that will be coming along with this project in regards to parks and extensive retail spaces. I'd also like to just reiterate that, as part of the master plan for building Kaka'ako, this creates that diverse diversity needed for the economy, with so you have high-end wages, you have low-end wages, all living together in the same place, which has been proven in studies to show that creating this allows upper economic mobility for the lower end of the spectrum. So with that, I think the rest of my testimony and support. Thank you.
Thank you, Payne. All right, next speaker, Justin Heikkinen. Justin.
You guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I got to keep this short and I apologize because I'm in the middle of the build out here. But I just wanted to call in and say that I am a firm believer in the transformation of the Kaka'ako neighborhood. I think that mixed use density is a great thing for the city and for the state because it keeps the urban sprawl from taking over other places that people want to protect. It also helps create many jobs and thus taxes to help, schools and everything else. So I'm a firm advocate for the Block D and Block E projects and the park because I think, it helps small business, and small business is really the lifeblood of any city.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Sorry, can you, for the record, can you state your affiliation, who you testifying on behalf of?
Yeah, sorry about that. My brain's all over the place because we're doing some cleaning here. I am the owner of How's It Brewing down on Kamani Street.
Okay, thank you a second.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Have a good one. Thank you.
Next speaker, Nainoa Mao.
Good morning, Chair and Board. Thank you for allowing me to testify here this morning in support of this project. I am Nainoa Mao, the Executive Director of Friends of the Library of Hawaii. And in June, we hosted our 2-week-long 74th annual sale at the Ward Village shops. And that was a big success for our nonprofit in support of the public libraries and brought a lot of the community down to Ward. I am here to reiterate the many positive economic and community impacts that Ward Village brings. The proposed residences at Block D and Block E will strengthen the revitalization of Kaka'ako and hopefully more supporters for our nonprofit in support of the Hawaii State Public Library system. In closing, we have witnessed the positive community impacts from Ward Village as a landlord, developer, and a great community partner. I hope that you will support these projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next speaker, Brandon Lamb.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Chair Ishii.
Morning.
My name is Brandon Lamb. I'm the owner of Latour Cafe, and we're opening our newest concept store planted in Ward Village at Ali'i. Latour Cafe opened its doors in January 2011, offering guests fresh baked bread, delicious sandwiches, unique drinks, and are best known for our handcrafted macarons. But without a supportive landlord and a community-oriented developer, we would not be able to grow our business and service our customers to the highest quality that we are known for. We are also excited to be in a thriving and transforming part of Kaka'ako and be a part of residents' daily morning routines and neighborhood lunches. These projects will bring additional residences and customers to our store, and we're grateful to be a part of the community. Thank you for taking the time to listen to business owners like me and support Ward Village proposed projects.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next speaker, Harrison Luke and Vicky Ibesu.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning. This is the first time for Vicky and I, and we really don't want to tell you except our testimony is very simple. We love living and love it. We love living here. And as current residents of Ward Village, we offer our support to the proposed Block D and Block E Ward Village residences, as well as the Diamond Head Park Plaza. In addition to the convenience and lifestyle provided by Ward Village, we are delighted at the continued evolution of the community and the addition of families, restaurants, shops, and enhanced landscapes. For us, it's made it very convenient, especially when you get on in time and you cannot move around as other people, because this community offers us a lot, and it's been very good to us. I don't know, Vicky, you want to say something?
Well, I'm just happy to be living here. I truly enjoy the conveniences of Whole Foods, the theaters, just walking around, and we have been living in condominium, well, just one condominium for 27 years, and so we like it here.
And you do have our written testimony, which we stand by, and even our little puppy enjoys it here. She loved it here because everybody treats her very well too. So, I mean, yeah, honestly, we love it. And we like what Howard Hughes and his people have been great to us. The staff and where we live have been very, very helpful and very courteous. And we didn't experience these things before, so it makes a lot better living experience for all of us. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harrison
Thank
and
you.
Vicky.
Okay. Next speaker, Jasmine Chin. Ms. Chin?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good morning, Chair Ishii. My name is Jasmine Chin. I am the owner of Happy Lemon. I would like to express how much we like being in Ward Village. Currently, we are temporarily at Ward Center, while our new storefront is under construction at Kō'ula Ward Village. We are so excited about the additional parks and open space coming with these proposed projects. We have many young kids and families that enjoy our boba and juice drinks and walk around the friendly and shaded sidewalks. Now they can enjoy the parks coming too. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I ask that you approve Block D and Block E projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine. Okay, next speaker, Jason and Perrin Thompson.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes. We are residents in Kō'ula, and we made that decision to purchase in 2019 and finally closed in 2023 and or in 2022, and we have enjoyed all the amenities, the walkability. We strongly support the blocks E and D, and we ask for your support.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kepa Fuentes. Next speaker, Kepa Fuentes.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Hello, I'm Kepa Fuentes, just a local resident. Just listening in. Yeah, I just want to say I'm excited about this project. Just being a local resident, I love taking my family on new experiences, and I think this would be really great. Just adding in, and I'm always great for the growing job opportunities for the community. And I did submit a written testimony, and I stand by that in support.
Thank you.
All right, have a great day.
You too. Next speaker, Dwayne Arilino. Arilino, so sorry.
And Chair, just note for the
Handwriting too light. Fancy.
Chair, just noting for the record that a member Higa had to jump off.
Okay.
11:06.
Morning, Chair.
Morning.
And board members, my name is Dwayne Oriano. I'm the business representative for the Glazers Union. And I'm with District Council 50, and we have over 2,000 members, and we support them and their families. So I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to testify on behalf of this project. We fully support it for Block E, and the park. So I just wanted to say that Howard Hughes has been a great developer. You know, we believe in him wholeheartedly, especially because my members, the Glazers, we are specialized, and we need these high-rise condominiums. That's what they specialize in. So basically, I'm going to ask you to support this project because all of our members need this work. And, if you guys can remember back, I just want to put a little shout out to Howard Hughes. Back when we had the pandemic, right? Our economy tanked. And to be honest with you, the only thing that kept us up was construction and Howard Hughes projects. You know, and we're very thankful and grateful for them. So I urge you guys to support this project, and it's up to us. Thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Look for someone on.
Yes.
Goldstein.
Yes.
Brian Goldstein.
Yeah.
Brian Goldstein. Next speaker, Brian Goldstein.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi, Mr. Goldstein.
Morning.
Hi. My name is Brian Goldstein. I live in Ward Village, and I'd like to add additional info to my written testimony. As you know, SB 1417 or Act 221 was signed into law on July 5th. In the statute, the legislature finds that it's a state's long-term interest to ensure the development in Kaka'ako Community District accounts and plans for the impact of climate change. SB 1417 amend section 206E-33 Hawaii revised statutes by adding section 10, which states that HCDA, quote, shall consider the impacts of climate change, sea level rise, and climate resilient development in the design and siting of buildings, close quote. The language is specific and clear, and compliance with the law is mandatory and effective immediately. In his legislative testimony in support of SB 1417, Executive Director Nakamoto stated that, quote, if SB 1417 is enacted, HCDA would develop implementation rules that consider the impacts of climate change, sea level rise, and climate resilience development in the design and siting of buildings, close quote. In my review of the documents submitted by Victoria Ward in support of the development of Blocks D and E, there does not appear to be any mention of climate change, sea level rise, or climate resiliency in the design or siting of the proposed towers. Neither the master plan permit nor the staff report summarized by Mr. Tam appear to consider climate change, sea level rise, or climate resiliency in the design or siting of the buildings. This legislation appears to require that HCDA certify that the design and siting of all future development in Kaka'ako, including Blocks D and E, comply with Act 221. Once the rules are developed, Victoria Ward will need to demonstrate that the design and siting of the towers in Blocks D and E comply with the newly developed rules. Act 221 became effective on signing and does not provide HCDA with a timeline for implementation. HCDA could have requested a time frame for implementation, but did not do so. The law is effective now and compliance is mandatory. As I see it, HCDA currently lacks the authority to approve any future development in Kaka'ako until rules and certification process for compliance with Act 221 is established. I trust that the Attorney General's office will provide guidance on what needs to be done by HCDA to comply with this important law. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other speakers? Any other? Any speakers?
Could I testify as a public member of the public? I'm Paul Brubaker, the economist. I just have one comment to make.
Sure.
I think it's important for people to know, when I first began talking with Howard Hughes about a decade ago, the first question I asked was about climate change and mitigation of sea rise. And I was assured at that time that it was being taken into account as a design principle. And I've been undertaking my economic analysis for them on occasion now for about 10 years with that in mind. So I realize maybe the legislature has just figured this out, but we've been talking about it actively from before I was hired to work with Howard Hughes. And I think it's important for the public to know that. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's no further public testimony, I will proceed with closing today's proceedings. Council. Oh, sorry. Oh, someone just signed up. Okay. Sybil Glassby.
Hi,
Ms. Glassby.
my name, yes. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, great, thank you. My name is Sybil Glasby and I'm a resident of Ward Village and I do love living in Ward Village. However, I am very much opposed to one element of the design plan that was raised in the staff report, and that's related to the proximity of the two towers. My concern is related to the light impact that would have on Oahe Street, as well as the aspect of that creating another wind tunnel in Ward Village. We already see that between the two towers at Io and Ali. The wind can be very severe coming through that channel because the buildings are very closely placed together. And the other concern I think that's been raised is there needs to be more of the level 3 chargers in Ward Village. There's only a few public chargers available, and those are consistently busy. So I think in looking at the plans, that should also be a condition of this process going forward. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you. All right, if there's no further public testimony, I will proceed with closing today's proceedings. Council, do you have anything else to add?
Chair Shi, at this time, applicant Victoria Ward has no further evidence for this presentation.
Thank you. Now the authority would like to close the record for the hearing unless the counsel for the applicant would like to request the record be kept open.
Chair Shi, Victoria Ward requests that the record be kept open for the purpose of receiving evidence for the modification.
The authority will keep the record open to allow the applicant to submit additional material into a record. If there's no further comments or discussions, then on behalf of the ACDA authority members and its staff, I would like to thank you for your attendance. As mentioned earlier, in conjunction with this development permit application, the applicant is requesting modifications from the vested Kaka'ako-Mauka area rules and will be making a presentation for those modifications on Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023 at 9 a.m. virtually on Zoom and in the physical meeting site. This public hearing on the applicant's presentation of its project is now stand adjourned and it's 11:16. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.